Welcome back. In this episode, we're probably going to do the cheapest coilover conversion I have ever seen for Project Apocalypse. So some of you are probably going, how can it be the cheapest? Well, we got the coilovers with the K-member for a steal of a deal, and I have modified a factory strut to accept my coilovers. So the biggest problem was I couldn't get this to lock because it has a slot that's supposed to hook. Well, the factory ones didn't have that. So I went and booger welded a small plate in here to act as my locker. And then I trimmed off the excess on the top here that I guess served no purpose because it cut off just fine. So it serves no purpose anymore. And then I just slid on the coilover. Gonna throw the damper on and boom, we have a coilover-ish, kind of. Good enough for the job we're doing, at least for now. So we got those, but we needed some caster camber plates. I started looking around on Amazon and they have some very unimpressive reviews. So we already knew we were gonna have to fork out at least 150 to 180 bucks on caster camber plates. But luckily, came across a deal on Facebook for a set of Strange. That's strange. Kind of like same brand as those.
Strange.
That's strange.
Junkyard Strange or actual?
No, brand Strange.
Ah.
Brand new caster camber plates, and they're actually steel. So I actually like that because I don't have to worry about the aluminum busting. So I already got all the old crap out. We're going to go ahead and start throwing in the new stuff. That way we can get these in. And then we finally got the axles with C-clip eliminators in. So we can finally get the rear end in. We can finally put this thing on the ground and get subframe connectors made and a roll bar made. The reason I didn't want to go with the Amazon brand is, well, this is what happens with a shock. One, this looks like trash, but that guy is destroyed. You want that to take the entire brunt of my driving? No, I don't think so, Tim. Hunk of steel? I can swing that. Yeah! Oh, you don't know what we're talking about? Okay, I'll go this way, you go that way. So far, it's pretty straightforward with what we got. All right, so basically, he's going to mirror everything I do. So first thing we're going to do is going to take this guy, put it up in the holes. And then the 3 spacers will go on next. Actually put this guy in first. The inner caster goes into the bracket because it goes underneath, and that's what those spacers are for, so this can move forward and backwards. All right, then we can put the plate on. Perfect. And then your washers and nuts. That was actually fairly simple.
That was very self-explanatory.
I'm not going to tighten these all the way down yet because it's almost like these are somewhat adjustable to like adjust caster and camber or something. I know some of you might point this out. My coilover kit did not come complete. I'm missing the thrush washers and the cone. I am planning on getting them as soon as they're in stock. But for now, I'm just going to use the factory cone to support it just so I can get the car on the ground because I'm not driving it anytime soon yet.
It'll be on the road tonight.
No. So using these for now just to get it in here will work. So these are the original factory springs, these big old beefy ones, but we're going to be trading them out for coilover springs, which will let it fit right inside. Pop the spring on the bottom plate.
Oh, it actually pops on?
Yeah, it sits flush. And then this cap will go on next.
This one?
Yep. And then the cone, will, that little cone piece, steel. Oh, I got it over here.
Yeah, put the spacer on there, don't you?
And then the spacer goes on. This will go up into the caster camber plates.
Don't be recording me. Please
Then
don't
put a
record
spacer
me.
on and a bolt. Now we have to move these super heavy control arms because they're super heavy. You know, it's not the fact that I have jack stands under them because the control arms drop them to the floor. And then the bolts on the ground. You want to put the bolt in this way. That way it goes, the nuts will be facing the rotor. That way, if I ever have to change them on the side of the road, I can actually get the fuckers out. Do you want to ugga-dugga?
Oh, I don't care. You and your freaking goldenness.
What?
Go. Go.
That was only 6 ugga-duggas. Okay. All right, now that we got proper parts, let's put this thing back together the right way. Another thing I want to state real quick about coilovers, though, is you have different options for springs. So originally, me not knowing anything about front springs or nothing, I said, hey, bigger is better, right? I want the bigger spring because this is probably just some kind of knockoff. Well, that's apparently not the case. So you do a little bit of looking into it. This spring is a 200 spring. I would want to run this if this was solely a street car. This one is a 150 spring. This one's for racing. It'll store that kinetic energy and help it when you launch. It'll shift all that power to the back tires and help you plant. So we're going to run this spring. This spring will go with the rest of the kit, and when I finally get the other pieces needed, the other kit, we'll throw these probably in the wife's car for her. Don't tell her yet. So this time, we're going to continue to run our 150 spring. We already got our collar and everything on here. So we'll slide this guy down, make sure we get all the way on. Now that we're all the way on, now we can put our cap on. And then the pieces we didn't have last time were these washers and this thrust bearing, which will go right in here. And this cap. This cap actually takes all of the load. Now that we have that on there, we're going to take our piece from our caster camber plate that actually slides up into our caster camber plate. Slide that on there. Now we can get this unit up in the hole. There we go. Now we got spring on, our adjusters, our locker, all of our bearings, our cap, spacer, and finally the nut. Now with the spacer in here, it'll allow this to free spin and I can actually adjust this like I need to. So we'll give it a little bit of preload and see how it sits. I'm not done yet, so I'm not gonna lock that in until I figure out right where I want the car to sit. But we can get the other side all thrown in and everything. Well, now that we got everything thrown back in with the proper parts this time, I can go ahead and torque these up to 50 foot-pounds, and then I can continue working on the next step of the car. So make sure to stay tuned. We are getting very close. A little bit more wiring to do. Well, a lot of wiring to do. And run some brake lines now that these are done. And then we can start working on getting the 393 thrown together and get it dropped in here. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. We're almost there to 500 subscribers. And that would just be absolutely awesome. So thank you very much.